Good morning, everyone. My name is Sapriyanti. I'm in the fifth semester majoring in English Education, Faculty of Teacher Training and Education. I made this presentation video as a final semester assignment for the Semantic and Pragmatic course. The topic that I will discuss today is about speech act. We will learn together about how language is not only a means of communication but also a tool for taking action. We will discuss various types of speech act from the simple such as asking for help to the more complex ones. Okay, without further ado, let's start the lesson. Austin in Bay stated that speech acts are a focus on the relationship between language and action. In this case, when someone uses language, the person not only produces an isolated series of sentences but also performs in action. In other words, in using their language, they do something or force others to do something. Therefore, when someone communicates, there are speech acts that can afford the interlocutor. Austin and Oman distinguishes three main types of speech acts that are usually carried out by a speaker. The three types of speech act are locutionary act, illocutionary act, and the last is perlocutionary act. Locutionary acts are a form of speech act to state something that actually happened without any addition. In a locutionary act, someone who needs information and happens to hear that information, meaning that the information has been automatically obtained from someone else's speech. This means that the meaning obtained and conveyed is in the form of a literal meaning or basic meaning according to the dictionary without any change from the meaning conveyed. For example, I'm sick or I'm sleepy. The two utterances are local speech acts. In the first utterance, I'm sick, refers to discomfort in the body or part of the body due to suffering from something without intending to take medicine because of the pain suffered. The speech is intended as a statement from the speaker. In the second statement, I'm sleepy, means the feeling of wanting to sleep without any additional purpose, such as wanting to sleep or do something that can relieve the feeling of not being able to sleep. Next is illocutionary acts, are one form of speech act related to social function. Austin and Skinner state that the most important thing in achieving a particular illocutionary act is the need for the speaker's speech power, which is intended to secure the absorption of the listener. Thus, it can be concluded that illocutionary acts are one form of speech act where when delivering a sentence or in speaking there is a certain intention and purpose in the communication carried out where the speaker or speech partner is expected to be able to do something conveyed by the speaker. For example, I'm sick or I'm hungry. In the utterance, the first utterance, I'm sick, can ask the interlocutor to be given medicine to cure his pain. And the second utterance, I'm hungry, asks the speech partner to feed him so that his hunger goes away. The last type is perlocutionary act, is a speech act that is delivered with an influence that can be caused by the way of saying what is said. In other words, perlocutionary act is a form of speech act whose speech is intended to influence the interlocutor. For example, I'm busy or I'm hungry. Based on the example of the speech, it can be concluded that the first sentence is said by someone when they are doing a lot of tasks, and the second sentence is said by someone when they are eating. Thus are some types of speech act that are usually delivered by speakers along with their intention and purposes. Studying speech acts means that we also need to study the classification contained therein. Speech acts are classified into several parts. Searles classifies speech acts into 5 parts, namely representative, directive, commissive, expressive, and declarative. The first is representative speech, or speech act to define or explain what and how something happens as it is. This means that representative speech is speech that binds the speaker to the truth of his speech. Here it can be said that representative speech seems to make the speaker responsible for what he says. In addition, the type of speech included in representative speech are speech stating, demanding, admitting, reporting, showing, mentioning, giving, speculating, and so on. The second is directive speech. Bach and Hernes argue that directives are speech acts in which the speaker states her attitude towards several actions to be taken by the listener. This type of directive speech act is used when the speaker wants someone to do something. Some types of speech act include request, question, commands, order, and suggestions. For example, in the sentence, "Can you borrow me a ball, please?" The speech describes the speaker asking the listener to do something, namely lending a ball for the speaker to use. And the third is commissive speech, is a speech in which the sentence uttered by the speaker binds the speaker to a future. This means that when someone speaks commissively, it means that the speech functions to encourage the speaker to do something such as promising, swearing, and obliging. In other words, this commissive speech is a speech that binds the speaker to do the action mentioned previously in the speech. Let's move on to the next type, namely expressive speech. Expressive speech is speech that concerns the feeling and attitudes or actions of the speaker in conveying something such as apologizing, saying thank you, complaining, expressing gratitude, criticizing, giving awards, praising, and so on. So, expressive speech is a speech act intended so that the speech is interpreted as an assessment of what is mentioned in the speech. For example, in the sentence, "Thank you for your dedication." This statement is an expression of the speaker that he is very happy because he gets attention from others. The last type is declarative, which is a form of speech act in which the speaker, when delivering his speech, directly influences changes in condition or places and tends to rely on complicated language to interpret it. Declarative speech act cause various changes in the status or condition of the object or subject in question. This speech act is usually difficult to interpret or does not have a real meaning. The words used are intended to influence the interlocutor by expressing subtle sentences or subtle sarcasm. Speech acts are included in declarative are ostracization, declaration of war, baptism, and dismissal from work. For example, "You are nothing to me." This sentence or utterance, the speaker tries to isolate the interlocutor with intention that the speaker has no match or the interlocutor is nothing compared to the speaker. Speech acts are also divided into two, namely direct speech act and indirect speech act. Direct speech acts are a form of speech that is delivered directly to the interlocutor. The meaning and purpose of this speech act can be directly understood by the interlocutor because the speech is in the form of sentences that are not yet clear in meaning. The characteristic of direct speech acts that contain performative verbs tend to conclude that the speech in an action whose verb requires, while indirect speech acts are speech acts that are expressed indirectly to the listener, and in their speech contain implied words such as using proverbs, figures of speech, or metaphors in speaking, so that the interlocutor cannot immediately grasp the meaning of the speaker's speech and conclude the true meaning of the speech delivered by the speaker. That's all my presentation. Thank you for watching and I hope it was useful. Have a nice day and see you.